Guide for Inner Spiritual Work by Rabbi Michael-ben-Pesach Portnaar. Lesson 34. The Prophet of a Land. It is known that nothing appears in its true form, only through its opposite, as far as light excelled darkness. This means everything is pointed to another, and by the opposite of something, the existence of its opposite can be perceived. 1. This principle is a consequence of how the observation of the creation is structured. Everything consists of two parts, the inner and the outer. With this fact, slowly all doubts about the control system of the Creator, what is good, will disappear. In each difficult situation, one has to make a havdalah, a separation, so there will be no doubt for the decision one has to make. When I feel hate rising in me, I have to ask myself, who is this? Is this my inner being or my outer being? Which one of them wants to please me? No, the vectors are opposite always. When one wants to give pleasure, another hates it, and vice versa. Without any doubt, there has to be an acceptance what the inner hates or wants to please. Don't pay attention at what the outer being wishes. When the outer is very persistent, throw it a bone of the royal table. Research and notice this will work. Hence, it is impossible to attain something in complete clarity if its parallel is absent. For example, it is impossible to estimate and say something is good if its opposite is missing. 2. Pointing to the bad, it is the same with bitterness and sweetness, love and hate, and satiation, thirst and saturation, cohesion and separation. It turns out it is impossible to come to love's adhesion, 3, prior to acquiring the hate of separation, 4. When a person is working on himself, we see the same division, the inner or the good, and the outer or the bad, 3, in comprehension and observing of the inner being, and 4, the comprehension and observing of the outer being. To come to hate separation, one must first know what separation is, meaning what he's separated from, 5, and then one may say he wants to correct that separation. 5, to select and make havdalah, diversion. In other words, one should examine from what and from whom he is separated, and afterwards he can try to amend it and connect himself to the one he's separated from. 6. To make an indisputable decision after one has made a havdalah. If, for example, one understands he will benefit from merging with him, he can assume and know that one loses by remaining separated. Gain and loss are measured according to the pleasure and the suffering. One stays away from something that causes one to suffer, and hates it. The measure of the distance depends on the measurement of the suffering, since it is man's nature to escape from suffering. Hence one depends on the other, meaning to the extent of the suffering. So is the measure one strains and works to stay away from it. In other words, the torments cause hate for the thing that induces torments, and to that extent one stays far from it. It follows one should know what is equivalence of what he must do to reach adhesion, called equivalence of form. 7. By that he will come to know what disparity of form and separation is. The inner being is only interested in the resemblance of qualities. He only opens his ears for the saying of the proverbs of the fathers, while you fulfill the prescription, the path of the Creator. Put your losses and profits opposite the losses and the profits of a sin. That brings clarity. We know from the holy books the Creator is good, and He creates only the good. His government is understood as good by the lower creatures. We have an obligation to believe this. However, it is difficult to maintain the government is good while we are seeing in our surroundings and in ourselves there is suffering, and this is sent from the good to lower creatures. When there's an experience of suffering and you are accusing him for all the suffering he's sending, to you, you deny the Creator is sending only the good to his creatures, and that is named sinner. A sinner justifies only the Creator when he is sending him pleasure. As we already have said, he is righteous who justifies the actions of the Creator. He who says that the Creator does govern the world in a righteous way. A human being who experiences the suffering is separated from the Creator because he changes his nature in hatred for the one who is sending him this suffering. Instead, to love him, he hates him. 8. Suffers at the suffering, because when we should not pay attention at the suffering of his outer being, he would not change in the hater for the one who sends him the suffering. What do you have to do to reach the love of the Creator? We have perceived a wonderful remedy, namely the Torah and the prescriptions, Kabbalah, to help us. The light, what is within the Torah, helps us to return to the Creator. The light in the Torah makes us aware of the danger that lies in the separation with the Creator. When there is a true intention to understand the light in the Torah, at the same time the hatred for the Creator is disappearing. Now he sees the reason, what has taken him away from the Creator. A person has to believe the conduction of the Creator is good, that the intention was, is, and shall be good. It is only the opposite what the selfish-centered man is wishing. Only when you come to the intention for the sake of the Creator, named equality in quality, you can receive pleasure the Creator wants to give to you. To understand this wakes you up and the hatred for the separation of the Creator, because now you understand the use of the words equality to quality, and you can get strength out of these words. Only then a human being can strive to become whole with the Creator. Every time you experience the condition of falling, you are separated from the Creator. This gives you the possibility to understand both sides of the separation. The moment you experience the falling, you have to let go, or you have to let grow the understanding of the nearing. You can compare this with the feeding of a person who has never been hungry. The falling and the separation are waking up in you the longing for it to come nearer and for the uplifting. And ascending wakes up in your hatred for the falling. Only when there are two observations, 9, you can see and understand the difference. We already have said the greatness of the light lays in the darkness. One can appreciate the closeness with the Creator when he sees this is the only way to reach that good creation, to give pleasure at the creatures. Everything he observes was sent by the Creator so he could see the way he sees. These are the paths to reach the goal of creation. 9. These two observations are only there for them who are working spiritually at themselves. When a person only lives according to his outer being, he has one observation. Yet, it is not so simple to acquire adhesion with the Creator. It requires great effort and exertion to acquire the sensation and feeling of delight and pleasure. Before that, one must justify providence, believe beyond reason the Creator behaves in goodness with the creatures, and say they have eyes and see not. 10. They will not see the light of correction of Ab and Sag, because eyes is Chokmah, Ab, and ears is Bina, Sag. Our sages say Habakkuk came and ascribed them. The righteous shall live by his faith. It means a person doesn't need to engage himself in details, but concentrate his entire work on a single point, a rule, which is faith in the Creator. He should pray the Creator to help him to become capable of advancing with faith beyond reason. There is power in the faith that when one comes to hate the separation, it is considered faith indirectly makes him hate that separation. We see there is a great difference between faith, vision, and knowledge. Something can be seen and known. If the mind necessitates it, is good to do that thing, it decides to do so. Once that decision is done, it is enough regarding the thing he decided to do. In other words, he executes in the form that he decided, because the mind accompanies him in every simple act, as not to break what the mind tells him, and lets him understand in every single act by 100%, to the extent that the mind brought him to the decision he has reached. 11. For example, when someone has burned his fingers once, he will never put them in the fire again, because his power of reason or intellect makes the conclusion of the consequences. Faith is a conditional agreement to act against the reason. In other words, he overpowers the mind and says it is indeed worthwhile to work as much as faith necessitates to work beyond reason. Faith beyond reason is only worthwhile when we are truly busy with it. Only when you really believe you can bring up the effort to go beyond reason, the intellect. 12. Each day a person wakes up and immediately he remembers his previous conclusion of life from practice. Betoch Hadat. However, every moment you have to fight against these previous conclusions so you can make a clean start. Each day of the creation you have to make a new and unique correction besides your own personal correction. As soon as the faith to go beyond knowledge has left you, you are weakened and you will stop learning the Torah and with the spiritual work, and it can't help you anymore. While when we have taken a sensible decision, we don't have to return every time to overlook the decision and to motivate ourselves. It is a fact that you have to work with a certain insight in what is good and what is bad. When faith does obligate you, you have to go away from the faith, otherwise you will fall from the earned step in the condition of the sinner. These situations come and go every day several times. It is impossible to stay forever in faith beyond knowledge. 13. It is impossible to stay forever in faith beyond knowledge. 13. Faith beyond knowledge isn't impossible without a continuous inner struggle. Every time when there is a distraction of the wishes of the outer being, there is a delay in the belief beyond knowledge. Belief beyond knowledge is hardly to comprehend because it is opposite to our intellect and to all our physical wishes. And you have to know all the wishes in your body stem from nature itself, because the body and the heart want to enjoy constantly. It pulls you away from to go beyond knowledge. Only when you connect yourself with faith you will receive the strength to go beyond the power of the physical body and beyond your intellect. Before you become one with the Creator, you can't be forever in the condition of faith beyond knowledge. When the light of the faith doesn't shine over you, you can all you are. This situation is the consequence of the discrepancy between the Creator and the selfish wish. The difference between qualities from the Creator gives you the observation of suffering. It destroys everything that was needed to near the Creator. At such a moment when the faith is disappearing in you, you realize you are in a worse situation than before you had faith. 14. The faith gives in you an awareness of higher and lower levels. The reach of your awareness goes in the depth, height, and broaden. When the faith disappears for a short moment, you fall to unknown depths back, because there's only a thin layer of belief to hold on with the lighted aviyut. When belief suddenly disappears because of a shortcoming at inner strength, the aviyut increases immediately to the level of the new depth in his awareness, and as a stone he rolls down from the mountain. Through this comes the hate for separation, considering the qualities of the Creator, because at once he sees the suffering in the world and in himself. He is not in the situation to justify the government of the Creator with a good deed that comes from the absolute good of the Creator. In this condition he sees darkness around him. When he corrects his bad opinion, hatred appears for the separation with the Creator. And through this hatred for the separation for the Creator, by the worsening of his own qualities, he becomes to love through the nearing of him. 15. Hate for separation from the Creator and a better belief over his government makes the belief beyond knowledge stronger. This makes the layer of belief thicker, a cushion of belief, and one can learn more at this layer. he can hold tight without falling in a condition before he started to believe. The more you see the darkness and the evil, you can come near to the observation of the good and to respect the situation even when there is only a slight connection with the Creator. 16. Each time you go with a belief beyond knowledge, from the inside, a warning light is flickering, the Reshemot. We can see that all the torments existing in the world are a preparation for the real torments. These are the torments one must reach, or he wouldn't be able to acquire anything spiritual, as there is no light without a vessel, and the condemnation and slandering of providence relate to these torments. In this true suffering, 17, he accuses the rulership of the Creator by speaking with a bad tongue, and he prays that the Creator will help him not to slander his providence. And only with his suffering the Creator bears in mind. This is named the Creator hears every prayer. This is named the Creator hears every prayer from every mouth. 17. This suffering of the inner being is structural, necessarily, and the spiritual healing process. The Creator himself gives it to him out of love. It is said, the Creator gives suffering at his favorite ones. They are the one who will come to the everlasting love for the Creator. The Creator is a father for his own children, and the adopted ones. Of course, he is severe and demanding because he expects that they will be as him. He doesn't demand from his adopted children because they have to discover the qualities of their father. At least they will discover his love, and then he will demand too. The inner being is the son of the Creator. The outer being is the adopted one. The Creator gives answer only to them who are suffering and asking for help, but not for themselves. When the Creator would be a separation between him and the person, because there is a difference between qualities. But when a person is pleading for faith, he gives him the strength so he can resist his selfish, centered attitude and come to wholeness in quality with the Creator. He notices the lack of faith brings him further away from the control system, and when he does so, he is named a sinner. There he accuses the Creator. All the suffering lays in the lack of belief and faith in the bad thinking over the control system from the Creator. Praised is the Creator who created his greatness. The human being is suffering because he doesn't experience the control system from the Creator, and he doesn't praise him. He doesn't reveal himself to the lower creatures so they can't uplift themselves, and this makes them suffer. When there is suffering, accusation over the control system is there too. Accusation over the control system is there too. And only then he can pray to the Creator for strength to believe and to say, He is good, and everything He does is good. And not only saying, but also understand what he is saying. Not for himself, not only for pleasure, but now he isn't accusing the Creator, because that is the cause from his suffering. 18. Only pleadings at the Creator that have come forth from the structural suffering lead to spiritual development. Every human being can wish to go beyond knowledge and the belief the Creator rules the world through the good and to do well. Every human being can wish his belief were an observation, clear and evident to comprehend his faith. With the Torah, Kabbalah, and the prescriptions, the path to the Creator, every human being can draw the light from the Creator to himself, but he can't justify the control system from the good goal for his creatures. 19. This wakes up the suffering. He raises the name of the Creator as He is good and does good, and it is against his physical body, his wishes. That makes him suffer, because when he is in separation with the Creator, he can't justify his treatment at the lower beings. That is the hate for the separation with the Creator. How does the Rabbi combine in one sentence two seemingly opposites? He wishes, by reading the Torah and the mitzvah, to attract the light of the Creator, not for his own pleasure, but because he can't justify the government of the Creator. Not for his own pleasure, presume for the Creator, lishma, that justify his government fully. In this, Rabbi says that the opposite, in this we see a great comprehension and learning. When the human being is suffering so much, the Creator gives an answer to his prayer, the turning of the heart, and let him come near. He is worthy to come near the Creator. When he is in the situation, it is said, the advantage of the light is only to be seen in the darkness. And also the benefit of the earth lies in everything. The creation is the earth, in everything. When he sees the difference between separation and nearing, then he has become worthy in everything to merge, because the Creator is everything. Please read at the end of the lesson the table from 4 columns. What to correct, with what, result, and goal. Be well until the next lesson.